Hi, this is Nancy. Today is February 5th, 2022. How are you doing? No matter what happened in our past lives, either we had glorious past or miserable past. The past has passed. The important thing is the present moment. If you happen to know what happened in your past, try to come back to the present. Cultivation is not in the past or the future, but the present moment. Today, I'd like to share with you a story. This story is about an old woman who could not be transformed by the Buddha, but was easily transformed by the Buddha disciple Ananda. One day, the Buddha was walking. He saw an old woman sitting on the side of the road. The Buddha knew that the good root of this old woman had matured, and it was time for her to get transformed. So the Buddha thought, if I could let her see me just for one moment, she will be transformed. The Buddha thought this way because the Buddha had a solemn appearance. Anyone who saw the Buddha would have the chance to plant the seed to become a Buddha. So the Buddha wanted to transform this old woman with his appearance. However, when the Buddha showed up on the left side of this old woman turned her head to the right side. With his supernatural power, the Buddha showed up on the right side of this old woman, and this old woman turned her head to the left side. It's not that this old woman did that on purpose. There was always something to make her turn her head to the opposite direction. When the woman was looking down, the Buddha manifested as a villain so she could see him. However, right at that moment, a bird flew by, and this old woman raised her head to look at the bird. So the Buddha rose into the air with his supernatural power, but something in the old woman's hand dropped, and this old woman lowered her head to look at the ground. So, after all these tries, it just happened that this old woman could not see the Buddha at all. The Buddha thought, I have very shallow affinity with this old woman. Even though the condition is right for her to be transformed, I cannot do this. The Buddha gave up and he walked ahead. At that moment, Ananda came. The Buddha said to Ananda, Ananda, you have good affinity with that old woman there. You go and talk to her. Ananda did accordingly. With his begging bowl in his hand, he walked to the old woman. From distance, the old woman saw Ananda, and she couldn't help praising him. Ananda walked close and preached to her. She believed in Ananda right away and was transformed. It was just that easy. Later, Ananda asked the Buddha, Buddha, you are enlightened. What was the reason that you asked me to talk to the old woman? The Buddha then told Ananda a story. Long time ago, there were two bhikkhus. One day, when it was time to beg for food, they walked to a nearby village together. When they were near a river, they saw a dead mouse. When a bhikkhu saw a dead animal, he normally would bury this animal and chant the name of the Buddha and recite sutras for this animal. The first bhikkhu saw the dead mouse. He just took a look and walked ahead. The second bhikkhu saw the dead mouse. He buried the mouse and also chanted the name of the Buddha and recited sutras and transformed the merit to the mouse. The Buddha said, the first bhikkhu was me. The second bhikkhu was you. and that mouse was that old woman. So Ananda, you see, you have good affinity with that old woman. Amitabha, every word, every action is a seed. It is so important to plant good seeds along the way. Helping others is indeed helping ourselves and preparing for our own future. Thank you, everyone, for being here. I'll see you next time. Bye.